what's working. This year's Chicago Matters, a partnership of WTTW, WBEZ Radio 91.5 FM, the Chicago Public Library, and the Chicago Reporter, is funded by grants from the Chicago Community Trust, Chicago's community foundation, helping people put charitable dollars to work for more than 80 years.
Romeoville, Illinois, November 1996. Another union finds its contract under attack. These oil refinery workers have been locked out of their jobs for 8 long months.
It's about the company coming out and just baldly saying that from now on you are going to work the same amount of hours or more, but we're not going to pay you as much. And that is just blatantly wrong.
The refinery is owned by the Univen Company, a partnership between Unocal and a Venezuelan oil company. They say in this era of global competition, they just can't afford the salaries and benefits the union has negotiated in the past.
Young kids grow up today without the slightest knowledge of what labor did, unions did.
Studs Terkel is probably Chicago's most famous champion of labor's cause. He never misses a chance to remind us about the long struggle for workers' rights in his books, on his long-running radio program, and even occasionally on the street corner.
As a couple waiting there for the bus, I've seen them for a year at least. They never speak to me. I've tried to approach them, but they're cool. She's very beautiful, has the latest Vanity Fair under her arm. He, of course, has the Wall Street Journal folded neatly under his arm, three-piece suit, on the way, no doubt, to the street, trading. Brokerage house, perhaps. They wait for the bus, and I'm waiting. I want to make some conversation. And I say, you know, Labor Day is coming up, which, of course, is the wrong thing to say. And they just look at me, and they turn away. I say, I got to make some conversation here. I like to talk to people. So I say, Labor Day was the day, sort of an imp of the perverse possessed me. Labor Day is the day we used to walk down State Street with signs, CIO, UAW, and sing songs, which side are you on, you know, and solidarity forever. And they look at me, and I turn away. And I say, well, you know, that's what the trade unions are all about. Then he turns and says to me, we loathe unions. I say, oh, boy, I got a pigeon here. The bus is late in coming. I see no bus. So I say, as soon as he said that, I said, by the way, how many hours a day do you work? And he says, 8. I said, how come you don't work 18 hours a day? Your great-grandparents worked 18 hours a day. You know why you work 8 hours a day? Because in Chicago, in 1886, it was the Haymarket Affair. In 1886, 4 guys got hanged fighting for the 8-hour day. This is an actual event. They got hanged so that you could work 8 hours a day and not 18.
The Haymarket Affair was a tragic ending to an epic event, a national demonstration for the 8-hour workday. Marches and rallies were held all across the country on May 1st, 1886.
At this point, right now, these employees at Chicago Vencor might not have the issues and they might not want to organize, but it's incumbent upon Vencor to really listen to what their employees are saying, you know, and allowing those employees to have an input in the process and have an input in their working lives. If they want to keep the union out, then that's what Vencor should do.
But this story doesn't end with Byron Hobbs heading off in search of new workers to organize. No, it ends where it began, back at Univen, because just 4 days after the new union contract was ratified, Univen's co-owners threw an ironic plot twist into the story that made everyone in the company think twice about job security. Not only the union workers at the plant, but the white-collar staff here at corporate headquarters in Arlington Heights as well. What happened? The Venezuelan half-owners of Univen announced an agreement to buy out their partner Unocal. The Venezuelan company plans to take over operation of the refinery in Romeoville and dissolve the Univen company in Arlington Heights. That means 230 white-collar workers here at corporate headquarters will most likely lose their jobs, including the managers who fought so hard to win concessions from the union. Meanwhile, the unionized workers at the plant will probably get to keep their jobs.
Many of Univen's management employees may well be wishing they had union protection. But the fact is, if the new owner ever decides to shut down the plant in Romeoville, the union workers will be just as unemployed as the corporate workers. The buyout really serves as yet another reminder of how fickle the workplace is today, and it leaves us all wondering. As corporate America and the new global marketplace continues to woo investors with state-of-the-art technology, efficiency, and profitability, what about the workers? We're now joined by two guests in the studio who may have very different answers to that question and other questions about the state of the American workplace. Robin Potter is a partner in the law firm of Potter & Schaffner. Ms. Potter specializes in labor, civil rights, and employment law and represents unions and individual workers. She comes from a family of union activists. Also with me is John Rodabaugh. Mr. Rodabaugh is a partner in the labor and employment law firm of Matkoff, Salzman, Madoff & Gunn. He represents management. From 1990 to 1993, he was a member of the National Labor Relations Board as an appointee of President Bush. And welcome, both of you. Let me ask the first question. Does the experience at Univen, with the managers now facing the possibility of losing their jobs, show that nobody is really safe anymore in the workplace, union or non-union? Ms. Potter?
Phil, I think that's an excellent question, and I think the writing's on the wall, and it has been in this country for a long time, that no one is safe. We're not just talking about cuts that affect blue-collar workers anymore in this country. AT&T has been cutting back on their management, U.S. robotics, everywhere. So I think what you find that union workers have gone through in this country, it is now cutting across class lines, and it is hitting at the management level.